Grand Rising. This is the Straight Talk Morning Show. My name is Andre Hill. I'm your host, and we got a hot show today. We're going to be giving you some energy and power to help this paradigm shift manifest. So that's what's going on today. We have our chairman of the United Aboriginal American Republic, Terrence Lake, up in freezing cold Detroit. How you doing this morning, Chairman?
Cold. But Grand Rising, everyone. I'm doing fine. Yeah, it then went down to 3 degrees Fahrenheit. 3 degrees Fahrenheit. That is real cold. And I don't plan on leaving the house. I'm going to get ready for this football. But I'm doing all right. I can't complain. Just trying to make it better.
Well, that's why I'm wearing this orange shirt to give y'all a little sunshine, because we nice and warm and beautiful down here in Tampa, Florida. So
yeah, I can imagine.
Peace, everybody.
I seen pictures of you yesterday.
Yeah, man, out on the beach chilling, pina coladas. But we're gonna end up paying for it one day. Hopefully we'll stay down here in Tampa. Hopefully it'll be all right. But anyway, we got Andre Hill Jr., our engineer, our chief jurist, doctor. I called him. He told me there's something else I need to call him. How you doing today, bro?
It's just chief jurist. That's all. But I'm good though, family. I'm good. Peace and love to the tribe out there. And y'all stay tuned. I think we got some good information for y'all today.
Absolutely. So while I was out on the beach and here in the office in the studio, I did post that we were going to talk about, our people are still, these people here are humans that want to hold on to this demonic system. They still interrupting us. So I have to let you know that this movement, this is the natural order. This is not no special movement by me, the chairman, and my son. It's the natural order. When you dog a people out for 400 years, you murder, you rape them, you rob them, imprison them, because of your insecurities, you're going to have to pay karma. And so once the contract with the dark side, with the Luciferian agenda, whatever you want to call it, it has expired. So you can't hold on to this illusion anymore. So anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're going to expand on that, and the chairman is going to talk about AI. We have some serious information to give you about AI, what we think is really going on with it, and then also my son is going to feature the Tartarian, the Turtle Island, what we were before Columbus, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, what we were doing here in America. So we're going to handle that. But first, I got a little promo deal here. Last night, I went up to Al Soul Food up at 1421, I'm sorry, 2302 East 7th Avenue. And I went to get some chicken, and I really wanted some oxtails, but the food is good there. And guess who I met? I met Kalia Ali, and she was there. She was signing autographs. She's here in Tampa, beautiful woman. And, I know Ali rubbed off on her, so that positive energy, was transmitting through her. But she's going to be at a book signing today at 2 p.m. at Sula's bookstore. That's Ursula at 1421 Tampa Park Plaza. That's right off of Nebraska and Scott. So if you don't have anything to do, shoot over there and get an autograph. I don't know if she's going to give you one of these, because I'm going to put this one up for auction for anybody who want to bid on it. You can have it because it's addressed to me, but for the nation, I'm giving all. For our nation to build a government, an institution that's going to take care of our children, hey man, it's got to happen. So if you're interested in having this autograph addressed to me, portrait of Kalia and Muhammad Ali,
Okay, with 3i Atlas, it's still on the move. They're still collecting a lot of data. It hasn't reached Jupiter yet, but its trajectory is on course. They're making a few trajectories going off course in a sense, but that's a controlled operation. We all know that, comets, when they go in a certain direction, they have to continue in that direction. They do have jets on them from sublimation. When they get closer to the sun, it starts heating up and it causes a jet-like action to propel them, but you've never heard of a comet slowing down. 3i Atlas has slowed down and it's altered its course a little bit where it's trying to get near the revolution of our Earth, how we revolve around, because every planet has its own area of, trajectory to go around the sun. And with 3i Atlas, they're thinking that it might make a move to get in Earth's orbit, but it would be like ahead of us and where they'll still be able to observe us from where they're at. Now, you still got a lot of in-house fighting with different astronomers because you probably got, I'd say 60% of them still calling it a comet. But with all the anomalies, that prove that it's not a comet. Why is it so hard for them to believe that it's a comet and not, a space vehicle? Let's just call a spade a spade, Anytime it makes the moves that it's making, it's different. It's not a comet, you know. But it's really getting interesting because now you got that in-house fighting. You got the CIA telling folks, well, don't look at this here. How are you going to stop somebody from looking at the moon or looking at the sun? It's a trip, unbelievable. But I think the best is yet to come because, like I say, in March the 16th, it'll be right there at Jupiter. And they should get enough information then to just go on and call it what it really is. Now, there is a slight percentage. I feel that it might not be, a space vehicle. But if that's not, there are space vehicles out there. We don't have to rely on 3i Atlas. We knew about space vehicles from other planets a long time ago. I don't know why folks are getting stuck on one thing saying it is or it isn't, like we're not the only game in town, But yeah, it's really getting interesting, And with the AI, that artificial intelligence, it's just totally getting out of hand. You can't tell fiction from reality now. You're looking at something and you're thinking it's real and it's not. The people, the way they had these babies dancing and singing and doing other things, like, wow, where is this all leading to? But I think it's a good thing because it's entertaining. But the bad thing about it, you don't know if it's real or, phony. And it's like I say, we're in for some very exciting times. And March the 16th isn't far off, but it might make a move before then and get into the Earth orbit and stay in our neighborhood for a while, or make a better contact. Because you're also hearing some scientists talking about the frequency that's coming from within, 3i Atlas. And one guy said that he radared towards it and it beamed in on 3i Atlas, and he said that there was ship that had different compartments, that had hundreds of different compartments, and some bigger than others. I don't know how they do that, but somehow they do, because they can sniff out different what do you call it, chemicals, what's in the ship, what's around it.
Right.
It's amazing what we can do, but they're still trying to keep us away from knowing what they actually know. They're still feeding us a bunch of lies, and that's got to stop.
Absolutely. So, Chairman, we were talking about this earlier, but I know I'm linked in. After that event that happened to me in February of 1990, it changed my spiritual DNA to tap into a higher source. But I can feel this ship. I can feel it moving through our solar system. I can feel it, when it's getting farther away and then closer. But what I'm also picking up from it, many years ago, the Guardians came to me in a vision and they said, look, we're going to leave. It didn't speak to me that way, but it was telepathic.
Spiritually.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to leave these two devices behind for you to protect you. Always know you have protection. And they showed me these two golden lanterns that they operated on an electromagnetic field or propulsion system, and that they will be here with me as long as I stay by deal with the code. I'm protected, and so that's why I do the things I do, because I don't fear nothing but breaking those laws. I can't lie, cheat, steal, none of that. So what I'm getting from that is they're going to leave us with some smaller ships that's going to enforce the end of this Luciferian contract. So all the humans have to do is to come together as collective and start thinking positive about each other, unconditional love, treating each other the way we want to be treated, and respecting that each and every human being on this planet has something to offer to the whole collective. Everybody's got something to offer, so you don't need to disrespect them. If the garbage man is just as important as a brain surgeon. So why he's being treated differently? Because if you don't take the garbage out, we all in trouble. So I'm getting these downloads that is being amplified, and so this is one thing I know. The Luciferian contract is over. So right now, these entities, whether they are low frequency reptilians, it's time for them to go back beneath the surface, because that's where they operate. And it's time for the humans on the surface to start rebuilding the planet from all the damage that was done. If you are part of a culture that destroyed and mistreated Mother Earth, Mother Earth don't play. It's time for you to correct that bad karma and start cleaning up the planet. Start shutting down all these industries that are based on repetitive nature of producing products where you got to keep paying and be a slave to this commerce. You got to shut it down, come up with natural systems. You should not be focusing on world conquest, because it's not going to happen. You don't have the technology to take over this planet. This planet is not owned by anybody, but it's a stage for souls to evolve. And you evolve by how you treat other people, how you demonstrate unconditional love for other humans. And these are the downloads that I'm getting. And that's why what I'm feeling right now, in terms of when I say on the show, and I'm going to use the politically correct terminology, if you continue to conspire against this movement, because I believe, even though on the east side in Russia, I believe that Vladimir is one of those souls that understand what the mission is. But here in this Western hemisphere, we are the ones that's going to usher in this paradigm shift right here in North America. We have a number of starseeds joining our organization, and they get the mission. They understand what the mission is. And so as we bring this collective thought together, if you are trying to hold on to a system of enslavement, war, murder, stealing, corruption, you're gonna be unalive. And that's what those guardians, those beings that 3-Hour Atlas is gonna leave behind, they're gonna enforce the will of the Most High and the will of the collective of humans that wanna do right by everybody. And it's not, even though the melanated people are the original humans on this planet, they must take the position of making this correction. But if you're not in this particular culture, then start demonstrating to the others in your culture that wants to continue to enforce this hate, this jealousy. Shut them down. That's the best you can do towards this paradigm shift. Shut them down. Don't be complicit with it because of white supremacy or even in the melanated community. Or you want to be rich. I got this, I got that, I got diamonds and gold chains all around my neck. You want to hold on to that madness? You're in trouble. So release that madness. The beings just going back beneath the surface, they're telling you, they encourage you, keep creating all this chaos while we escape to go back down beneath the surface. And they're putting your soul in jeopardy. Chairman, are you feeling that? Or, what?
Absolutely. You hit it right on the head when you said that you are feeling this download, that you could feel the ships when they're coming in our direction. They're in our solar system. We've always known that they could evacuate planet Earth. They have enough ships out there to do it. And if you just look in your mind, okay, the technology that put humans on planet Earth is way more advanced than we could even imagine, because look how long ago that we were populating the planet Earth. So can you imagine they're advancing still, and we have to recognize that, we've got to get involved. We've got to do something, because if we don't do something to try to make this right, we're all doomed. It's just like a crook coming in your neighborhood and he's breaking one house and nobody says anything. Then he's breaking into another house. Nobody says anything. Eventually he's going to get to your house and you didn't help out, so there's nobody else left to help you. So he's just going to take everything, or you're going to run out of the house and leave because you're afraid, this guy is doing this. We got to unite, come together, and stop all this madness, because our children, our descendants are at stake. Look at what's happening around the world. The wars. If we don't stop it, who's going to stop it? Sometimes we have to make sacrifices. And me, I'd make a sacrifice for my children, my grandchildren, and your grandchildren too, because I feel all children are my children. I have that fondness for just life itself. But all this madness that's going around, we got to stop it. And we do have the manpower. We got the majority. It's enough of us, but we're so divided. One's doing this, one's doing that, don't want to help this one, knocking that one. But what are you doing? You ain't doing nothing, but you're knocking somebody else for their beliefs. It's ridiculous. But I do have hope, especially in this younger generation, because they're going to be exposed to it, because we're exposing them right now, believe it or not. And I do it with my grandchildren. Some of them, the ones that will listen to me, some of them won't, because, they get indoctrinated, and they kind of stick to their beliefs. But when they start seeing some more catastrophic things happening, they're going to be, well, what could Grandpa talking about? Maybe, yeah, that's what he was talking about,
Yeah,
okay,
man.
then it's time for them to make a move. But you got to do something.
Yeah. Hey, Chairman, that's powerful, man. That is a powerful statement. So, so what is going on here in this nation, in this movement? We're not doing this to get rich, to be the new kings or new leaders. In our organizational structure, we have a collective. We have a council of elders, you know, like the chairman and I, you know, what we do is oversee, and there's several other, we have Mama La Baba, we have Mama Kelly, and, you know, we have some wise people. And our job is to help support this movement for our young people to get a better opportunity at life, and a better opportunity at evolving spiritually. So we bring all of our almost 400 years of experience to help guide you. And then we have an upper management team. If you born in the late 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, it's your job to come in and put these ideas together, things that you've seen in the so-called science fiction movies. We know how to draw that technology. That's the other thing that 3i Atlas is doing. We know how to access the technology, so you don't need gasoline-driven vehicles anymore. You don't need war, because there's an abundance of food and resources for everybody on this planet. It is the old biblical saying, and men shall study war no more. And that's where we are right now. And the only way that's going to be implemented is the collective of people coming together and saying, we're not dealing with this Luciferian reptilian agenda of hurting each other, stealing from each other, killing each other. We're not doing that anymore. And watch the paradigm shift. It's simple. It's a very simple process. Just start thinking on our frequency. Tap into our frequency of unconditional love for each other, respecting each other's worth. Because if you were created in this universe, you were created for a reason, for a purpose. You just need to find it. Here at UAAR, we can help you find it and help direct you. And the last but not least, do unto others as you will have them to do unto you. Very simple. It's just 3 basic principles. All these religious doctrines, do this, do that. Now, it's 3 basic principles. So just work with them. So now, right now, we have an ambassador in Washington, D.C. that is going to be representing us with every nation on this planet to coordinate resources for our children. So if you have a family member in Maryland, D.C., or Virginia that wants to get involved, make sure you go to UAAR. We have an ambassador. That ambassador needs your backing, because if they're left alone, these demons will attack them, because they don't want us to connect with the other Aboriginal nations that's trying to fix this thing. So if you're in that area, get in touch with me to go through UAAR and just send a note that we're interested. And if that don't work, we'll come up with some other means of contacting you. But please understand this clearly, to all of you demonic, Luciferian, satanic individuals. If you continue to interrupt, distract our people that's implementing this movement, you will be unalive, and your seed will be snuffed out. You will not be able to produce anymore. So you're putting your children and your children's children in jeopardy. Hold it on. Go on and accept the reality that you're going to have to pay that pipe. If you've been living off the Lucifer system, you got to let it go, or it's going to destroy you and your whole family line. And that's critical. Leave our people in DC alone. I'm telling you, it's going to be painful now. You're getting a touch of it right now. And all of our people that's in this snowstorm going to be protected. But for those of you that are still serving that negative energy for selfishness, you going down in fire that ain't no jive. I got that. I got that from this man right here, Muhammad Ali. He was one of the greatest Aboriginal leaders of all time. The man was brilliant, you know. And for somebody to take all them blows to his head and still be able to come out with them rhymes, you know, he was an amazing brother, you know. And I got a chance to briefly hang out with his wife, and you can see the power of what Ali rubbed off on her, you know, coming through. So let's get this thing together. Okay, so the second part of this show, Junior is going to take it on in from here. He's going to talk about the Tartarian Empire, the Turtle Island, all the things we were doing. We wasn't running around in no teepees. We had buildings. we had architecture, we had technology. And so we got to get back to, hey man, go ahead and take us in from there.
All right. Well, using the name Tartarian, we're going to kind of go through that. And so we can justify what it is and what it's not. I know we hear that term, floating around a lot in reference to, let's say, ancient architectural structures that were designed with harmonious components. In other words, you're talking architecture that seemingly we wouldn't have been able to build back then based on what they told us the technology was, right? But when you think about it, fam, we've, for one, there's nothing new under the sun. And when you think about us as Aboriginal people, we were everywhere on the planet before everybody else. And as great as you see us today, we've always been that great. We've always been that great. We roll with the seasons and we build and cultivate this planet in reality based on how we see fit in the season. So this video I'm about to show, this is, I got to give a shout out to Chief Namataga Ali. He's actually the brother that taught me civics from an Aboriginal perspective, right? Which allows us to now start up tribal nations and provide remedy and freedom for our peoples, right? And the brother's very smart, and so very good researcher. And I'm with no further ado, I'm gonna just go ahead and get this video started. I want to find the first shot. And hold on, where the video at? Lord have mercy. Y'all give me 1 second. See, Zoom be wanting to play around when you're trying to share something real.
Yeah,
all the time.
Got that right.
So while he's doing that, so if you're here in the Tampa area, like I was saying earlier, make sure you go over to Ursula's shop, Sulu 2 Books at 1421 Tampa Park Plaza, and go over there and talk to Khalil Ali. Tell her I sent you. So maybe she'll give you a discount. Tell her I said that. She might give you a discount on the books. But, with us bringing these kind of unions together, this is where we're going to get more incentive and momentum to reclaim our lives and get all this madness. These demons is trying to be gods and trying to be kings and all of that, and you are not in a proper alignment. Hey, man, it's time for you to check out. It's time for you to go pay the piper and go on and get this over with because you're done. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, hit it, man.
All right, hold tight. Hold on. Slow your run.
Oh.
All right. So, all right, friend, this is going to be a 10-minute video. I want y'all to watch this all the way through. We're going to watch it and listen. It's 10 minutes, but information in it is powerful enough to where you're going to feel like it's not long enough. Let's go ahead and get started.
Peace, everybody. Chief in the building. And I'm coming to talk about some of our Aboriginal history in America to solidify it. There's a lot of talk about Tartaria and were these cities already here and what was ancient America actually like versus what we've been taught. And so the videos are all online, but they need a synthesis. They need some scholastic grounding to them. And so what I have here is a 1546 map, and it was done by the French. But what I want to prove, one, is that these theories that there were already cities here are absolutely true, that the explorers saw them, and after some time, this information had to be suppressed. So when we're looking at the earlier maps, we can see some of these things. All right, first, let's do the scholarship. All right, Bibliothèque Nationale de France, British Library, Bibliothèque Estens, and the Huntington Library. These are all the places where you can find Pierre Descalier's 1546 map that I'm showing. Now, I'm circling this one in particular because when you read the annals of Hernando de Soto, I put this in the book, They Lied About the Slave Trade, he describes Mobile, where Chief Tuscaloosa is, and he describes it as being a fortified city of 80 buildings that can hold 1,000 persons in each building. That's 80,000 people in the city. And this is Mobile, right here, in the South. You see Florida here, Georgia would be over here, and this is Alabama. And you see, what do you see? You see what we would describe as Romanesque architecture. It's not, though. You also
Let me pause real quick, family. When he says Mobile, he's talking about Mobile, Alabama. That's where this city was. All right, let's keep it rolling.
see in the annals of Hernando de Soto that he stated that Tuscaloosa had a flag like the Knights of St. John's of Rhodes. It was in the form of a cross. He was a native, though, but these were cities that were here. And these people are known today as Black Americans. But it's important to show you this in the map because the explorers are the witnesses to the fact, and these are all over this map, that there were cities here. We already talked about Chicago and other ones. This is Mobile right here. All right, and you see the Spanish flags here that the French place because, of course, these are invaders, and they are the maps are written in their perception. But this is Mobile. This is a larger view of the map. You can see they map South America as well as North America. And besides Mobile, you see all of the other cities in the Northeast, Midwest, Chicago. These are all, look at how they are depicted.
Hold up. Let me see if I can get him out the way. Hold on. Let's take a look at this for a second.
Fortress cities.
Okay, so he I think his face is in the way of where Mobile is. But this little area down here, it don't really look like that, but that's Florida. But you know, they ain't had the same type of technology to map maps the way they do now. But if we go up, I'm assuming this is like all of this over here is New York. So this may be the Chicago area, or maybe this one over here. I'm not sure, just kind of based on how contorted the map is. But also too, this all the way up in here. This is I believe this is somewhere up in Canada. Look like it. I don't know, could be wrong. But yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to come back and kind of, you know, like really take a look at this map. But when we talking about major cities in ancient times built with very sophisticated architecture, bricks, and metals with dome type acoustic roofs, right? So I think he's gonna get a little bit more into that. So just hold tight.
Here's a close-up of it so you can see it. Now I want to get to something significant about Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is right here, and at the time it was called Norumbega, the North Bay. Here's another picture of it. Now, how we know this is Washington, D.C. is because of the Chesapeake Bay. We're going to show you this name up close and how the rivers split into this Y formation. Here's another depiction of Norumbega, which we are saying is Washington, D.C. So to confirm it, you see here Chesapeake sinus. Chesapeake is an indigenous word. It's Chesapeake. And so what you have here is the Chesapeake Bay and Washington, D.C. Here's another depiction. This is from the oldest Masonic Hall in Philadelphia. One of my brothers got this photo years ago. They've taken this photo down, but you can see again right here the split. And Washington, D.C. sits right in that area. Here's a modern map so you can see it. So you see in Norumbega, they have the castles right here, or the structures. One second. Okay, here we have it. Norumbega is a legendary settlement in northeastern North America, which was featured on many early maps from the 16th century until further European colonization of the region. It was alleged that the houses had pillars of gold and the inhabitants carried quartz of pearls on their head. All right, let's go further. The story of David Ingram, who was a sailor. He was shipwrecked in Mexicana, and he came all the way up the East Coast. of the United States, or what would become the United States. What did he see? He saw kings decorated with rubies 6 inches long, and they were borne on chairs of silver and crystal adorned with precious stones. He saw pearls as common as pebbles, and the natives were laden down by their ornaments of gold and silver. The city of Bega, that's Northern Bay, was 3/4 of a mile long and had many streets wider than those of London. Some houses had massive pillars of crystal and silver. Now, in case people want to keep arguing with us about this, we've written books on this. We know who the captives were, and we know who the people who ruled this land. This is from Codex Mendova. So I'm using the same period, 1540, to show you who was in power in the Americas. This is North America. Captivo. Now, for clarity, to prove that the $5 Indians were nowhere near these cities, we have an area called Anion. Anion is what would be Seattle, Oregon, and the western parts of Canada leading up to Alaska. And so they talk about this region, but look at what they said about it. Here you have all of this Latin script, and then you have this little section talking about Anion. What does this say? Here it is. Can you read it? This is for all you Tartarian implants. I have told you the people who are pushing the Tartarian narrative are trying to rob American Aboriginals and Moors of the history of them building these cities and being these people. I'm going to read this in Latin so you know what this says. Harum regionum indigene more Tartarium Carteritum, in all of that. Look at what it says. The natives of these regions, Anion, in the manner of the Tartars, live together in groups in tents, having no cities. Tents as in teepees. So y'all were up in Alaska, up in Western Canada, in y'all teepees, living in none of these cities where we were dripped down in jewelry, large castles and buildings. What we're trying to tell you is that history is documented. It's just that it's being reconstructed in your mind, and the pseudo material has been handed to you in your curriculums. And these maps are important. Who's going to sell a map for $27,500? What's in it? So when you start thinking about old America, even the concept of a cathedral is a cathode. If you understand electricity, the cathode is the fulcrum point for the electricity. It's the cold point. The anode.
Hold up for a second. This is a good example of a bit, although this is probably a modern drawing, that's fine. But, we see these type of buildings all over the U.S. And typically they may have a plate on them that says founded in this particular year. How do you found a building? Did you build it or not? Right? So in other words, when they came here, this is the kind of stuff they were seeing. They tried their best to renovate it and or maintain it. But again, we know, everybody on this panel, we all got a background in construction. We know, if you don't have the skill set of a particular trade to maintain a building, you're not going to be able to do it. But somebody taught them, but on the same token, they saw the sophistication of this architecture and this building, right? And this was the type of stuff we was living in and building when it was only us here.
Wait a minute, I got a quick story.
Yeah.
Don't lose your train of thought.
That's cool,
okay?
That's cool.
Right across the river here in the Tampa area.
Yeah.
Is called the University of Tampa.
Yep.
Now you got to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. I'm getting chill bumps. So when I was coming out of high school, I went to apply to go to the school, and the racist agenda was set up in there, and they wanted to kick me out of that school. They didn't want me to get joined in there. But, I kept looking at the architect. I said, this is an amazing architect. And what I later found out was it was built by the Moors or melanated people. But now, back in 68, a young black man from my high school that graduated, name was Leon McQuaid. He was an outstanding athlete. born in 1950. He's passed away now. This one man, him along with Freddie Solomon, took the University of Tampa to a national championship. And that started to empower the blacks, the local aboriginals here in the Tampa area. These racist people, to keep that momentum from being resurrected, they canceled the football team. They eliminated the football. Now, you know, as I get older, it probably need to be because our young kids are banging their heads up. But they did it because it would have kept the momentum going to help us regain our memory. And this young black man, Leon McQuaid, he was definitely had one of the original DNA bodies of the Aboriginal. He was superhuman, and he took him to a national championship. So, but that's we're gonna do the history on that, and we're gonna resurrect that. And all of those racist administrators that's over at the University of Tampa, you need to go somewhere else with that. But go ahead, man.
Well, shit, listen, the University of Tampa, if y'all ever get a chance, family out there listening to this live, just research, just Google University of Tampa, and you'll see it. It looks like an even better version of this building right here. It has domes on it just like this, and you can tell that is older architecture. But it's a college now. It's a college, and the primary people who go to this college are of Caucasian persuasion, right? They're Caucasian persuasion. In other words, so now it has what we call Moorish architecture, which was just pretty much an intercontinental and Aboriginal style of building, especially in areas of ports and major what they call it metropolitan area, because those type of buildings, stand the test of time, and they're designed to accommodate so many people. So the design of it was for harnessing and cultivating energy. That's pretty much what this brother is explaining in this video right now. Cathode L, cathedral. Cathode is a component of an electrical system.
Wow.
That's what a cathode is. It's a component of an electrical system, right? So we were building structures that were made of earth and also harmonious with earth. And we got to get back to that. And so I'm gonna let the video keep rolling. And yeah, but one more thing before I go. Brother Leon McQuaid, that was his name?
Yeah.
I know why they shut their football team down, because they want to, a lot of Caucasians feel like they want to let's say hijack Moorish belongings in general, intellectual property and real property. Reason why is because there was a lot of Moors from across the Atlantic. They had a lot of dealings with Europeans. Matter of fact, there would be no Europe without Moors. So a lot of the times they feel like they have airship to stuff like this, because those Moors did get involved in a lot of their politics, their civilization, and let's just say the phenotypical makeup of Europeans in total, right? So in other words, they are for lack of a better word, the bastard descendants of Moors from across the Atlantic. But they kind of disgruntled with what their own forefathers, but whatever, they feel like this is theirs now. But it ain't theirs. They ain't built this. We did. You see what I'm saying? So with the University of Tampa, it's the reason why they want to try to maintain that culture. That's why they shut down the football team. Because you know what happened? You know what would have happened if they would have kept that football team? More Aboriginals would have got sent to that college, and you already know what happened after that.
Absolutely.
That's what they prevented. For whatever it's worth, they were smart on that. So, but let's keep going.
Is the heat. And we know who L is. Light. So a cathedral is what? Holy water? Crystals? Magnets? Bells? Acoustics? This is all us. This is all our history.
Sorry, one more thing, too. Cathedrals, typically, what are they known for? Are known as being churches, right? They're known as being churches.
Exactly.
going on in the church, or the intent of what's supposed to be going on in the church. In other words, people convening for spiritual practice. That's what a cathedral is supposed to be for. It's just they got hijacked and they got a different poisonous, curriculum going on in there now.
The Catholic Church,
right?
Just said,
right?
Don't play with it.
That's pretty much what's happening. So these are what. So when you look at cathedrals, you be looking at them things. You be like, okay, they built this when, and who built this? It's like most cathedrals are immaculate architecturally. Some of the best buildings ever built. All stone interior and everything, high ceilings. Some of the best buildings you've ever seen, but this is what they designed for, right? But imagine this though. Imagine a parasitic and or demonic entity realizing this and say, oh, we know how to capitalize off this. We're going to use the building, but we just going to hijack the minds of people so they can reroute all of their praise and worship to us. And we'll use the building to amplify it. Mm-hmm. We'll use the building to amplify it. So for all of the, Abrahamic religions out there, that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
That's the University of Tampa. Oops, not bad. Okay. Well,
I'll tell you what, we can show it because your video is a little small, but we'll show it right after this. We're almost done, family.
All right.
So when you see this old architecture, know who built it. The Europeans, when they first came here, put it on the maps, and they showed you that these cities were already here. Didn't no TP dwelling $5 Indians build this stuff. No one else was here. And as I showed y'all, here you have American Aboriginals arresting Winchester. This is during the War of 1812. I told y'all, Norumbega is Washington, D.C., and it was already buildings there before white people got there and before $5 Indians got there. Who built them? Y'all think the White House is new? The White House is Casablanca, which is the Temple of Luxor. It's synonymous with them. Casablanca is in what became Al-Mamlaka Al-Maghrib in West Africa, and the Temple of Luxor is in Egypt, both colonies of America. So when you say the White House, these people aren't white. These pale people have nothing to do with the light. That's you, walking around in white turbans and white dress because of what that represents. This right here is the history. Look at what we did to these people. This is 1812. Where are the $5?
It ended already?
Now you're talking.
All right. What's going on here? I mean, maybe the info was too powerful. I didn't tell something. Hold on. All right, we back. All right. So y'all see what's happening, family. So one of the main reasons we wanted to show that is because right now we're on the precipice of having to regain, reclaim, and rebuild our whole way of life again. It's like we had a little brief hiccup with, parasitic demons dressed up in particular types of phenotypes coming over and trying to brainwash the Aboriginals so that they can siphon our energy and capitalize off of our essence. That's the bottom line of that. Like, in other words, they don't even want to kill you. They just want to make you a host. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Parasites don't kill. I mean, they typically don't kill the host until they get a lot of sustenance out of it. Right? And so at this point, like Pop says this all the time, we don't make good hosts anymore. We waking up. We don't make good hosts no more. We like kind of collectively detoxing all of the parasitic paradigms.
Well, wait a minute. That's why the Democrats keep bringing the immigrants in, because they're building a whole new culture of new hosts, because we are not good hosts. So don't be delusional. They actually believe that they're going to use these Hispanic phenocode from Mexico that came from Asia. They're going to build a whole new culture of slaves so that they can feed off of them. And Democrats were complicit with this.
Well, speaking of our Mexican peoples in particular, Aboriginal Americans, we're the ones that imported and grafted them, right? In other words, in Mexico now, based on what you see as a Mexican person, they'll tell you themselves, Go ask a real Mexican person from Mexico about the Temple of Warriors and Chichen Itza and all of the other statues and murals of who the quote unquote Olmec people were. They'll tell you if they real in their heart and soul, they'll tell you, oh yeah, all the statues look like y'all. Everything on the murals, that's y'all. They'll tell you what's up. Mexican people, quite honestly, I mean, now mind you, you've got some you got, a lot of political stuff that's going on in Mexico now, everything from, corrupt government to cartels or whatever have you. But the common people there, though, the common people, if they got any type of soul, they'll tell you what's happening. They'll tell you who they see down there and in that land called Mexico now. That was our main headquarters of our civilization. And because look where it is. That's prime real estate. Mexico looked just like Florida. It looked just like Florida. So saying all of that to say this, family, we're at that stage where, we got two routes to go. These parasitic entities, they know this. They ain't gonna be able to siphon off of you much longer. Hence is one of the reasons they want to build a whole new transhumanistic society, right? They want to incorporate as much seemingly advanced technology, AI, virtual reality, and so forth, and transhumanistic, let's say, surgery. In other words, they're gonna be trying to encourage you to attach tiger tails to your ass surgically, and monkey arms and stuff like that. Right? That's where they're going with that. Reason why is because they still need some life to siphon off of. So the only option they have left is to convince you to go sign up to be in an AI virtual world and have your mind in there, and so they can play with you there. But here on the outside, in the actual reality, that we project from our consciousness, we vibrating on a different level. They ain't going to be able to see us. They know that. They can prepare for that. They're trying to get their food source together for their winter time, for their hibernation. So now, that's fine. So, we ain't worried about it. We going our route. We ascended. So, but when we reascend, we showing you this video so you can reactivate that memory of what we used to build prior to everybody coming in with the bullshit. We just want to reactivate the memory because you got it in you. I mean, we are descendants of the people who built all of that stuff. It's literally in your DNA, like a code, like a file that you could just pull up again. It's just that we got, listen, 1 tablespoon of melanin is equivalent to like petabytes worth of data. It's a lot of files that you can pull up. Wow. Right? Petabytes. In other words, that's above terabytes. Right? Just like, if I just the skin on your index finger is petabytes worth of data.
That's powerful.
Right. And melanin infused DNA, petabytes worth of data. So we got a lot of storage within us that we can activate. And so it's like this. Imagine your body being just an endless library. You just got to be reminded where the stuff is at that you need to be reading. You have to be reminded. So this is why we're showing this. And that old saying, if you know where you came from, you know where you're going. You know where you came from, you know where we're going. I didn't realize it's almost time to shut down. Well, I'm gonna land that plane right there.
All right, Chairman, what's your final thoughts on this?
Okay, I was thinking of the Akashic records. Everything is laid out from the first person coming to planet Earth to the ones that are here right now. But there's an old biblical saying, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. If it wasn't so, I would have told you. And they're not talking about planet Earth where all these mansions are, but we can duplicate that, and we have, and you're bringing out the proof, and we're just refining it now. But can you imagine some planet that's more advanced than we are, what they have? Money wouldn't be an issue, just nothing but joy and happiness. There's a song, Joy and Happiness. But yep, I'll land that plane. It's a good thing.
Well, Chairman, I appreciate you that, we the old heads, we recognize, the old heads, we were brainwashed into the lies and the curriculum in the schools when we were going, that it made us think that the Caucasians or this pale skinned people were the guys. They did everything, invented everything. And so we now know that that was a lie. And it's not a real difficult process to throw it to the side, because all you got to do is go check your receipts. Go look at where our children are. Go look what they unmanageable. People are homeless. The real estate is sky high, and we don't control the economy. Just go check your receipts. But this is what I want to say to the elders of our community, those in the generation from me and the chairman. It's okay you don't know all these things. You were prisoners of war, held down for 400 years. But here's what you can do. The younger generations, they get it. They done reincarnated and they're going like, y'all still doing this? So it's okay that we don't know all these things, the history, the metaphysical, but we know, like Junior was saying, it's in your DNA. All you got to do is wake it up. So why don't we, the elders, at least start contributing? Let us stand between this demon and our children. You don't have to know everything, but you survived. If you 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, the fact that you survived is your testament. And our children is going to respect that. So, hey, man, go to our website, uaarnation.org. And for those, if this will make you feel better to make a contribution, because the banks are not going to finance us. We got to come up with creative ways of building infrastructure. Hey, bid on this picture. Say, well, I'm going to do it because I want that picture. Bid on it. Make a contribution so that we can do this thing, so we can protect the sister up in D.C. that's making contact with the nations that we're going to join with. So we can protect our security guy that was fired off his job because he's involved with this group. And our military people, they're trying to ostracize them because they're going to bring that military experience to our collective. These people need protection. So, stop sitting back and wondering if we're going to fail. We ain't going to fail. I will go to the death with this. And believe me, them demons know that if something happened to me, it game's over. I am not going to tell you about it right now, but they know game's over. So that's my take. Like I said, if you're here in Tampa, go over to Sula's bookstores at 1421 Tampa Park Plaza. Go over there and get one of Kalila's books and tell her Andre sent you. Maybe she'll give you a discount. We didn't discuss that. But say, Andre said you might give us a discount on the book. But think about this. The power that she had being associated with this true king, this warrior for melanated people, that just a little ounce of that power, if we bring it together, hey man, we're going to get back in position and all this madness has got to go. Hey, that's my take on it. Hey, Junior, you want to go ahead and close us out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been another powerful show. And I hope y'all gain something from it. Listen, family, I see y'all in the chat on YouTube. Appreciate y'all tuning in and supporting. We see y'all on Facebook. We appreciate y'all tuning in and supporting, family. But y'all see, I gotta talk and run the boards. So for all of the comments, I'm gonna get to you in a few. Just give me a second to close out the video because y'all asking good questions. And but yeah, again, we really appreciate all of the love and support. Again, one more time, we are nationalizing our people into freedom and self-sustainability. That's what we all about in our tribe. If you want to go to, if you want to get nationalized, in other words, if you want tribal government nationality, go to uaarnation.org. That's uaarnation.org. Go to the nationality page, click apply here, set you up an appointment, and we're gonna go through the process. You're gonna get a chance to meet the people in our tribe. You're gonna talk to 2 people, probably talk to 3 or 4 people that just going, verify that, hey, this is real. We ain't playing around. We ain't scamming you for money. We ain't gonna try to hit you upside the head, for nationalization. Our thing is this: we want to get you and your family straight so that you can be a strong link in the tribe, because the only thing that makes a tribe up is strong families, right? That's the only thing that's gonna make a tribe up. Clans and families is what actually make up a tribe. And so when we say we the people over here, we mean that shit. They don't mean that shit over there.
Absolutely.
They don't mean it. So, all right, but that's it, family. Peace and love as always. We love y'all. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Conversation piece.